Nobody who is serious about creating inner peace can overlook the opportunities for forgiveness every single day. Nobody who is serious about spiritual growth can ignore the opportunities, the lessons of forgiveness at some point in life. How is it that every single human on earth is going to get hurt in some way, betrayed, having their heart broken, being a victim of something? Every single human on earth will go through some sort of pain. So every single one of us will stand in front of a choice between forgiveness and pain, inner peace and inner turmoil, inner freedom and inner prison. This is a choice between choosing the light and choosing resentment, anger, the need for revenge. So forgiveness is an interesting concept. Even A Course in Miracles says, you do not understand what is forgiveness. Truly, this is a sort of miracle. It's not logical. If you think about it logically, it absolutely makes no sense. What? I was harmed and now I have to forgive? It makes zero sense. But there is something about forgiveness that has to happen on the level of the mind and on the level of the heart and soul. And once we are willing and open to forgive, miracles can happen. You know, I was resisting this subject because I do not want to be in this place where I have to forgive for something big, because that also means that I will go through a lot of pain. So I decided I am going to practice daily forgiveness, small steps towards forgiveness, small steps towards daily release of judgment. And based on this, I experienced miracles, shifts, and it was just a beautiful experience for me. You can truly access happiness through the practice of forgiveness. One of my teachers created the metaphor of a person that is not forgiving. If you are unwilling to forgive, if you hold on to the hurt, it's like keeping prisoners in your basement. So imagine that you have prisoners in your basement, those people that have hurt you, and you are tormenting yourself with the memories of what have happened. It's like bringing those people from your basement up to the living room and having some communication with them, tormenting yourself with their presence. I feel like those feelings live around the area of our heart. And that basement is like the basement of the heart. And it's definitely not where you would want to keep people that have hurt you. Wouldn't it be a practice of self-care and self-love to release those people, release the memories? Yes, and you may be asking, how do I let go of the memories? If you had trauma, there's plenty of work that you can do around that, but many people will not reach out to a psychologist, to a counselor, and they will suffer feeding the memories and feeding the prisoners in the basement of their heart. One of the ways to release it is to realize that you can raise above that experience. You do not have to believe that you deserved that treatment, that you deserved to be hurt. It was on them. It was on the people that have hurt you. Raise above the experience and create self-concept of somebody who is not a victim, but who is above it. And this is how you raise your vibration. And this is also one of the steps you take to release the memories. So basically, when the memories come up, you have a choice to engage with them or to distract yourself from them, or even better, to start thinking deliberately about those moments, basically creating different thoughts about it. Sometimes it's good to go to an altered state of consciousness to see the situation from an expanded awareness. There is work like past life regression, age regression, and life between lives that helps a lot of people to shift their perception, and through their greater awareness, they can release the pain and they can release the sense of being a victim. So the area around your heart, you definitely don't want to create an energy of resentment and anger around it because it hurts your heart physically. It would be so much healthier and better to have an energy of self-love, self-compassion, self-respect around your heart. And just because somebody has hurt you, it doesn't mean that those feelings are not accessible to you. It can be done, and this is the right direction. You don't want to go into the direction of seeing yourself as a victim. You want to raise yourself above that experience and above that negativity. Very often you will hear, you don't do the forgiveness work for the other person, you do this for yourself. I agree with this partially. You do this for yourself to feel free, but you also do it for the other person, but for the right reasons. You also do this for the humanity. I feel that every single one of us has this duty as we are ascending, as we are moving towards oneness, harmony, and ascension. According to A Course in Miracles, this life and time was created just so we can learn the lessons. When every single one of us learns to forgive and stop judgment, this is when we will experience oneness because we have one mind. So, as you and I practice forgiveness every single day, we are contributing to that practice of forgiveness, to oneness, and to inner peace. Because when we create inner peace in our hearts, there is more peace out there in the world. Would you agree? So, as hard as it is to make sense of forgiveness, I don't think this is something that we have to make sense of. We simply have to experience it through our hearts. We have to experience the freedom that comes from it through our hearts. It's good to be willing and open to do this. There might be moments when it's absolutely impossible for you to forgive, but you can always give it to God to forgive. Now, would you want to? There is such thing as karma. When somebody does something bad, it's on them. It's their karma to experience the same thing later. Some people worry that, oh, the karma cannot come fast enough, but we don't have to worry about it. And you don't know if that person will not change through their own self-reflection. So the karma will take care of it. I listened to Greg Braden once, and he had a girlfriend who stole money from him. I think he met somebody a few days after that happened, and that person said, "You don't have to worry about it. This is on that person. They have to live with what they have done." The need for revenge is, I think, natural. Sometimes you may feel like this is stupid and naive to forgive because that person has to pay the price for what they have done. I feel that. And just a few days ago, I had an opportunity to practice something like this. I had an opportunity to create some sort of revenge. I considered that it might be stupid and naive to let something go. And it was good to release it to the universe to take care of it. Every single time we create revenge, we recreate the cycle of pain. So that means that the bad karma goes on. Somebody does something bad to you, you do something bad to them, and the cycle of hurt continues. Specifically because that person may not know that they did something bad to you, that they might have acted out of very low self-esteem. They might have acted out of self-defense that may make no sense to you. But the point is that as we go through the cycle of revenge, we continue the bad karma. And it continues until one person stops, not because they are stupid and naive for forgiving, but because they see what is their role in this situation. It's about deciding how do you want to live with this and through this. Do you want to be the person that engages in this sort of actions? Sometimes the best choice is to not to be dragged to the dirt that the other person wants you to be in. So if you don't know where to start because it is not a logical process, the most important thing is to be willing. Be willing to experience the miracle of forgiveness. And if you don't know how to do this, there is this underutilized practice, underutilized tool that is very helpful, and that is prayer. You know, in the past, I would be really turned off by the talk about praying and God, but it changed when I brought God, the divine, into the center of my life. And I no longer see it as a turnoff. So I hope that you will be a little bit open to consider that too. You can always open the gate to the possibility of forgiving, the possibility of creating inner peace and inner freedom. And this can be done simply as creating a moment of silence and admitting that God, Holy Spirit, I am willing to create peace in this situation. I don't know how to do this. Please show me the way. I don't know how to do this. Please lead me through the steps towards forgiveness and towards inner peace. One of the most powerful lines in one famous book is, God, forgive them because they don't know what they are doing. God, forgive them because they have no idea what they are doing. So in this sentence, there is no evaluation of what they are doing. There is something else I am doing, which is a step towards forgiveness, is when I have a problem with somebody, I pray for that person to experience awakening so they see the situation and they stop saying things that are hurtful. But as I say, please help this person to awaken to the truth. There is a shadow of judgment, right? I think that they are doing something wrong. So I admit it happens. So I decided to also include the prayer for myself. Please help that person to awaken to the truth. But please also help me to see the truth about this situation. You have to go into the forgiveness practice in order to raise above the logic, to go deeper than logic, and to go through the process in order to see that it doesn't mean that it was okay. No, it wasn't okay. But it also doesn't mean that you have to live with the pain, that it means something permanent about you. This is not a logical process. It has to involve the mind, the heart, and the soul. So if you are willing to go through that process of forgiveness, to experience that miracle, you may not know ahead of time what will your miracle of forgiveness look like, what it will bring you. I mentioned that I experienced some miracles as I practice my daily forgiveness. As we move through the day, sometimes we meet hundreds of people, especially if you live in a big city, if you go through airports and so on, and things may happen. And there are many, many opportunities for judgment. So I think that it's not about ending completely our ability to judge. It's good to keep the positive side of judgment, which is discernment. You have to know what is wrong, what is right. But to release judgment of another person. As we go through the day, there are sometimes dozens of opportunities to release that judgment. It was a period of several weeks. I started releasing the judgment. I no longer want to be a person that forms those judgments, but since the brain does it automatically, then I made sure that I would stop going in the negative direction, and I asked for help to release that judgment. That was enough to create a sense of lightness and love. And at some point, I experienced a moment when I was in a very crowded location, which normally is challenging for people. And I noticed that everybody is so beautiful and everybody is in such a good mood and people were smiling. And it felt so good to be in this crowded location. And I attributed this to my practice of forgiveness. My mind was set to focus on acceptance and focus on inner peace. It's very important for me to work on my inner peace because I know the more of us feel the peace inside, the more peace is out there in the world. And these days, you hear here and there people talk about upcoming violence and upcoming anger. And what if it doesn't have to happen? Because in our hearts, we know that we are one, we are moving towards oneness. And every single one of us has the opportunity and duty to release negativity, to forgive, and to come back to oneness and contribute to inner peace. What do you want to contribute to? Do you want to contribute to the division and anger, or do you want to contribute to inner peace and to the world peace? If you have your own miracles that came from the practice of forgiveness, I would so appreciate if you could share them in the comments. If you think that this video was of value to you, please subscribe to this channel and like this video and maybe share it with somebody who may need to hear it today. Thank you for watching.